Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Infinite Dragon Ball History number 39, I believe, and we're going to take on the Adventurers in the Demon Realm stage. Now what is super important is in this one, basically we are going to focus on completing the 3 major missions. These missions are to beat the event within 13 turns, to beat the event with 3 demonic power units, and to beat the event with 3 time traveler units. What is so important when it comes to this, basically, is that when you focus on these missions, it has to affect your team build. Now I wanted to do a team build that had a few more free-to-play units, but unfortunately physical Goku Mini Dimer, for whatever reason, is not on time travelers. So instead we had to settle with some slight adjustments, but still this is a fairly fun team with an emphasis on quite a few free-to-players with really good strengths, like the Vegeta Mini Dimer, the Strength Glorio, and the Int Pansy. Now obviously we'll be focusing on completing all those missions, but it's important to take note that the event, Infinite Dragon Ball History, is not at the same requisite level as your red zones, festival battles, etc. It is more a introductory stage, or a stage that gives players a little bit of stones, whilst providing them with a little bit of story, with a little bit of feeling to it. Other than that, that's really about it. We'll focus now on the bosses and then talk about the team a little bit, but basically it's most important to focus in on working with ensuring that your team build is correct when you start, because like I say, for the most part it's not super challenging. Now in terms of the bosses and what happens, so we have here the Piccolo Mini Dimer with 330,000 super, 10 mil health, and he stuns characters. Then we have Vegeta Dimer with 15 mil health, 420k supers, Vegeta Mini Dimer with 16 million health, 475k supers. All the bosses are now, from Vegeta Dimer onwards, immune to attack lowering, defense lowering, sealing, and stunning. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta Mini Dimer has a 600k super, a 15 million health pool, and in terms of that, also can randomly seal your characters. So that is something that is also a process. Goku Dimer follows with a 16 super, a 16 million health pool, and nothing unique to his kit in general. Then Goku Mini Dimer, the standard base version of Goku Mini Dimer, follows with 22 million health, 700k in terms of his super, and nothing unique in terms of how he functions. Then we move on to Super Saiyan Goku Mini Dimer, who has 810k health, 24 million HP, 810k super, and can lock character switching. Probably the one that's most annoying. Locking character switching is definitely a mechanic that most players, myself included, are not super big fans of. It is quite limiting. It removes a lot of the feeling of agency that players have, and so it's a mechanic that's not really super keen. I don't know many players who are super valuable or really keen on the whole mechanic of losing your ability to control where your characters are, as it's literally one of like 2 decisions you actually get to make the whole turn. So that's why it is so frustrating. And then post that you have Super Saiyan 4, the final stage, Mini Dimer Goku, 25 million HP, 840k super, guaranteed crits though, not that that means too much in today's age, with only an 840k attack stat, but still, at least for me, pretty interesting. Now I would say that obviously, like I said, the functionality of the Dimer event is not to focus on your, like, how can I say, is not to focus on your like progress, because the bosses are not hard. The main thing is just to make sure that your team build is right, and that, you know, essentially you are dealing with any kind of major mechanics that you need to deal with. Luckily, there's just not a lot of major mechanics that you do need to deal with. So for the most part, players can experience a fairly consistent, albeit straightforward, kind of process for themselves, and in this process are able to have a good time when it comes to taking on any other bosses. It is not a situation that requires you to really do too much. The Diamond S's for Goku's crits can be irritating if your characters are maybe not at the top tier. Maybe you have some characters just below that. So in that situation, you could potentially maybe want to consider evasion units. If you are someone that is very much heavily focused in and is struggling with this stage, then there are, like I said, quite a few good free-to-play units that you can consider to use to really improve your overall time, because those units are always going to be very available. The Glorio, the Pansy, and even the Int Vegeta are all solid units. If you're still struggling, then of course the next step is to consider splitting the challenges. So don't try to do everything at once, rather focus on splitting the challenges, providing yourself with a different team build or more flexibility, because you're only focusing on one category, not trying to build for two. And that's really probably as much as I can say around kind of working around things. At the end of the day, Infinite Dragon Ball History is there for the experience. It's not there to be a challenge. So when you are someone who is struggling maybe with Infinite Dragon Ball History, just consider that it's either likely because you don't have the right characters for the category missions. The roster is quite limited, so I do understand it being a little bit frustrating. Our team is more than fine. I think for me overall, I don't have any huge concerns around anything really. I'm quite happy with how the team came together. I'm quite happy basically with how everything got put together in terms of this entire run. It was very smooth, very straightforward. We didn't struggle at any massive points, so it just felt very consistent, very clean, and very easy to have set rotations. Your physical Goku Daima your Int Goku Daima alongside your friend Tech Goku Daima. You then have your SS3 Vegeta alongside your Int Vegeta. Like, these are just very set standard rotations that you don't have to think too hard with, which I think is always really, really nice. But yeah, that's it from me. See you next time. Bye.